Thank you, buddy. It has not been a good week. Bonnie is currently at the vet's and has been for 2 nights. She was extremely dehydrated, couldn't hold water or food down, but fingers crossed, touch wood, everything of the above. She's on the mend, and I will hopefully get to go and pick her up this afternoon. I'm Jace. This is Loki. This is Bonnie, who is currently at the vet's. And I'm here on this 104-part series to hold myself accountable to putting £300,000 away in the next 2 years to go and create a paradise for homeless dogs in France, moving from the UK. The reason for the series is just to hold myself accountable through the very thick, which is what it feels like I am in right now, and the thin, documenting the process, the hardships, and letting you guys know ultimately nothing ever seems to be plain sailing. So Bonnie ate something on a walk a few days ago. It was my own fault. I was talking to someone else on the dog walk and I'd seen her go over, and it's not unusual for Bonnie to interact with the environment, go and sniff, but she was still there 2 minutes later and was chewing something, so I knew she'd eaten something. Now, because of how she reacted, she was vomiting all the time, etc. I was trying to get fluids and food in, syringing her in, because I know how much she hates the vets, and that was a last port of call. She'd had an anti-nausea injection from the vets, which was hopefully going to help her keep food and water down to regain her hydration, to make her feel better, but it just didn't work, so she had to be admitted. All of her blood work was clear, barring her sodium and potassium levels being low, which you'd expect from her throwing up. The CT scan that was done showed she was very gaseous, and she did stink a little bit, not that I'll tell her that. And she had a lot of feces in there, but I would expect that to be the case given that she hadn't eaten for about 30 hours up until the point of being admitted, so nothing would be pushing along. Long story short, she should be coming home this afternoon with a clean bill of health, bless her. And it is a worry because she is 12 and a half years old, and I forget that sometimes because of how bouncy she is and how puppy-like she still maintains at her age. And I still call her my pup because she is my firstborn, as me being a dog dad. Now, unfortunately, as a result of the vet's bills, I was supposed to go and pick up a new dog dad wagon this weekend, tomorrow in fact, and it's just not going to happen. The goal is to put money away for the sanctuary, not to have a shiny new car. I need a new car because the Mercedes is not in good shape right now, but I have decided on something considerably smaller and even more economic than the new dog dad wagon was going to be. So hopefully I'll be able to report back on that next week. Now, the other exciting thing which is happening tomorrow, I think it's exciting, is I'm driving the motorhome which we have, which is for sale right now, because me and my ex-partner split up. We're selling it because she has equity in it. I might be driving it all the way down about 3 hours to Salisbury for somebody to buy it. Now, you might think that's quite risky because I said might buy it, but the potential buyers have put their trust in me and sent over a £500 non-refundable deposit to allow me to come down to deliver the motorhome down to them and then complete the purchase, assuming everything is right in accordance with the description. Let's go over to the whiteboard and discuss more prominent positive things like the finances and see what progress we made this week. So it's that time in the video where we put up the whiteboard and then we talk about the hard facts, the money. Has it grown, and if so, by how much? Because that's ultimately what matters in being able to purchase a property outright. The first subcategory inside of the finance section is fiat money, and I class fiat money as anything that's electronically banked or in cash at this moment in time, or it may well be in my stocks and shares ISA, which doubles up as a cash ISA through Trading 212 as well. It's not a shill for Trading 212, it's just where I have allocated my assets, and I feel safe to do so because they are backed by the FCS here in the UK. So this week, through dog boarding, training, daycare and walkies, I managed to put £305, so the grand total in fiat money this week is £4,300. Now the next subcategory is Pokemon cards, a collectibles category if you like, and I have about £2,000 worth in full sets and some graded cards in there too. The third subcategory is cryptocurrency. I know it's one of those industries that people will love or avoid like the plague, but I personally love it because of the volatility and the excitement that takes place inside of there. Side note, financial advice, investing shouldn't be exciting, so pay no attention to me whatsoever. On the lower end of the spectrum in cryptocurrency, I have £20,000. And the final category is that motorhome, which may or may not be sold before next week's episode. I am filming this finance section a couple of days later, so who knows? Maybe it went, maybe it didn't. But on the lower end of the spectrum, I've been estimating my equity inside the motorhome is about £10,000, bringing our grand total this week up to £36,300. And finally, guys, I just want to say a genuine, heartfelt thank you to your support from this channel, because it has been a very rough couple of weeks, with Loki showing me signs of his bad back, Bonnie having to be admitted to the vets. Whew, but still managing to keep myself accountable to these edits. All of the doggy boarding and daycare that's going on at this moment in time, I feel fairly accomplished, but a little bit burnt out. But you guys are keeping me accountable to these videos each and every single week on a Friday at 6 o'clock. So thank you. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay awesome.